What's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps. UFC 293 is in the books out here in beautiful Sydney, Australia right now. The weather's it's been a little bit up and down, but today's been pretty nice so far. At night, it gets a little bit too cold, but we're not going to get into that. We're going to talk right about the main event. Obviously, the changing of the guards. Another Sean is a UFC champion. I don't know. The MMA gods, this is why we fight. People always talk about this person has no chance. There's no way, the odds this, the odds that. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. But guys, it is a fist fight. Anything can happen, especially when you have an opportunity to prepare for one said individual. That's why I never count anybody out. I always talk about their skills, their strengths, their weaknesses, and that's pretty much it. The rest is up to them. Whatever they decide to go up in there with, the willpower, the heart, and obviously the brains, the tactical approach. It wasn't the most barn burner fight, but it had its moments where the crowd kind of got up on their feet because they thought something crazy was about to happen, especially after the ending of round one, the way Sean Strickland ended that, just very dominantly. I would even say maybe was that even a 10-8? Maybe not enough for a 10-8, but it looked like it was about to get stopped. And I think you can even make the argument that that fight could have been stopped. There was a couple guys that we were riding in the bus with back to the hotel, and they said if that was any other fight, it would have been a TKO. And I kind of agree with that, you know. And it also reminds me of my fight with O'Malley. Just in that situation, like you could have let it go on just a little bit more to see what would have actually had happened. We let that go a little bit more, and if it had been stopped, I don't think there would have been too many people that would have been up in arms about it other than saying, come on, it's a title fight, let them fight. So with that being said, I'm glad Mark Goddard let the fight go, gave Izzy his chance to defend his belt, and at the end of the day, obviously Sean won. He showed that he was the better man tonight in Sydney, Australia, and he gets it done, man, in a dominant fashion, losing one round. I don't even know what round he lost, maybe round two. Other than that, it was pretty much off to the races for Sean Strickland. We were sitting next to kind of like his whole team, like Izzy had his whole team near us, so it was like weird. And then Sean Strickland's girlfriend and her, I don't want to say family, but her people were sitting right in front of us. And I'm kind of like, we're with you guys, but we don't want to be super obvious because we respect these guys and we don't want nobody to kind of yell at us and be mad at us because they're sitting right behind us. But I try to be very impartial. Like obviously I know Izzy, respect Izzy, definitely top tier talent. The things he's been able to do and accomplish, beautiful, very hard to do, hard to achieve. But obviously training at Extreme Couture with Sean Strickland, meeting him at Syndicate MMA, and just seeing the energy that he brings to the room and being around that team, that atmosphere. Of course, I'm pulling for the guy that I'm more with. You know, that's who I'm with. I'm with this gym, even though it might not be the most. Oh man, I'm here every single day, but you know that's the gym that I'm with when I'm training back home in Vegas. So it was a very unique situation to be in whenever they're sitting you next to family and stuff like that. But man, congrats to Sean Strickland. Like the way he fought, lights out. He had to be perfect, and he fought perfect, man. Constant pressure. And this is what I was saying about the similarities between strikers like Izzy Adesanya, strikers like Sean O'Malley, strikers like, I don't want to say Ian Gary, but because Ian Gary can also be offensive. And I think that's the difference with those guys. So I don't want to say that. But guys who tend to play the game, and I say playing the game in a way where I don't want it to come off the wrong way. But when I say playing the game, it's almost like I'm going to point fight until you get frustrated, until you make a mistake, and then I'm going to clap you when you come in and get in those cheeks. Israel, look at all his past few fights where he used to be a lot more aggressive going forward, and then as he kind of ran into like that Gaslam fight and it kind of was that 5-round war, I think something switched where it's like, dude, I don't need to fight like this all the time. And I'm not saying he doesn't go for it anymore. Obviously, the Robert Whittaker fight. But what did Whittaker do that allowed Izzy to knock him out? Whittaker ran in, same way I ran in. And that's the way the game goes. Sometimes you zig when you should have zagged, and sometimes you make miscalculations thinking that you can do something that's there, that's not always going to be there, and that's the fight game. You just never know what the person is thinking in that moment in time compared to the things that you've done in the training room against multiple different training partners or whoever you're training with, and it's a game of inches. So with that being said, I tweeted that I want to talk about this style. Izzy's very good at utilizing those feints where he'll look down, he'll look up, and he's got that mean mug on, and he's feinting, hip twitch. It was kind of sent almost like the way that Henry does it, but Henry does it very weird where it looks like he's humping the air. But Izzy would do it kind of like a quick hip, like he's going to throw that front kick, and then he'll whip the leg kick, or he'll shoot the long jab. But he doesn't really throw a lot of combinations. So a guy like Sean Strickland, who's not afraid to get hit, obviously we've seen that with the Predator fight, he got cracked and still kept coming forward until eventually it was his demise. You see a guy like Strickland who learned from that, and now understanding his style even better, it's doing this 52 block, jail block defense where he's checking, parrying, blocking here, blocking kicks, and the way he does everything is very different than what we're taught traditionally in boxing classes and Muay Thai classes and things like that. But it works, right? He's winning fights. You can't deny that guy is getting these W's, and he's the freaking UFC champion, beating one of the most dominant, probably arguably the greatest of all time middleweight, just based on what he was able to do in this era of MMA. Obviously, Anderson Silva had a ridiculous run as well during that era of MMA, but in modern day MMA, I'm going to say Izzy's up there as probably one of the GOATs, right? I mean, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but or you just think it's Anderson Silva all the way long. And you got to remember, like, the game definitely evolved, so the competition is stiffer these newer years from the olden ages. So with that being said, so Sean Strickland, hands in front, parrying, blocking the jab, checking it, blocking the hooks, coming here, covering, doing everything well, leaving his body open, but sometimes he'll throw those front teeps with the lead leg as he's walking you down. He doesn't cut guys off very well, but he will keep the constant pressure on you and make you constantly have to move and adjust your feet. And the moment you settle, it allows him to step in with that long jab that he steps in with big determination, where he'll throw that 1-2, which is the cross that put down Izzy in round one towards the end. So with Israel's style, I think there's some deficiency. There's always a deficiency with a certain style if you can expose it, right? You break it down, making adjustments in the middle of the competition and being able to fight a different way and not just one set way the entire time. Izzy doesn't throw a lot of combinations. I don't throw a lot of combinations. There's a lot of fighters that fight like that where it's just one off, but there's also a lot of guys who throw in big punches and bunches, and those guys tend to be a bit more dangerous. But then you have the snipers. Obviously, I'm going to give credit. O'Malley, he's good at that when guys rush in, myself. You have Izzy, who's caught a lot of guys like that, catching Robert Whittaker, catching a few other guys, knocking them out, catching Brunson, a few other guys like that. You have to, I just feel the way Sean fought was beautiful in the sense that he kept tracking him down, and every time Izzy would feint, he would just hold his ground. He wouldn't run into it. He didn't overly bite and react on the feints. He just kind of kept his hands here, where if Izzy did throw, he was able to kind of deflect it a little bit, or where he would break the rhythm and utilize that stiff jab. There was a point where I think Izzy in the fourth round kind of like just exhaled, and then there was like a big snot of blood that just came running out of his nose. It looked like a big chunk just fell out. It was kind of gross. But I asked the other guys, I was like, did anybody else see that? That was a lot of blood coming out. His nose might be pretty busted right now. But again, going back to the brilliance of Sean Strickland, that pressure, I've seen him do to the guys multiple times, time and time again in the training room. And he's doing it against better and better guys. And for him to do it on the biggest stage of his career and on short notice, guys, give this man his flowers, because that was a beautiful shutout performance. I mean, obviously 49, 48, 46, but still, that's as close to a shutout as it gets, in my opinion. Oh, excuse me, in my opinion. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you. I did that wrong, but other than that, man, it's just been a great time here, being able to hang out and explore the city a little bit. But one other thing before I get into that, I feel when you have these pressure fighters, please go back and just watch a bunch of Izzy's fight. The Yoel Romero is prime suspect number 1. Jared Cannonier, even the Robert Whittaker 2 fight. When Whittaker doesn't rush in, watch the way that Izzy fights. There isn't a lot of chances being taken to put himself at risk. And obviously he's a champ. He doesn't need to take those chances. He's doing just enough to win and get by and show that he's just the superior tactician and striker while he's in there. Nothing wrong with that at all, guys, at all. But when you have a guy like Sean who's willing to risk it and stay in your face the entire time, that is a tough dude to fight. If you're not wrestling him, good luck. Because this guy breaks guys, he wilts them. Even guys that do take him down, he eventually gets up. Or the next round, these guys get tired from grappling him, trying to hold him down. If you don't finish him, just know that he's going to be in your face for the rest of those sparring rounds. And he ain't going to quit. The guy spars, from what I feel like, 4 or 5 times a week. He's just got all those he's got all those reps in, so to speak. So he understands his style. He knows what he does well. And it's beautiful to see that he won. Let me not say beautiful. It's fascinating to see that you could win a world title with a simple 1-2. Jab, cross. Cut the guy off. Well, I'm not even going to say cut the guy off. Like walk around the ring and follow the guy and keep putting that jab in his face. And eventually you're going to get him, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Monday morning a whole bunch of guys in the gym mimicking Sean Strickland, trying to analyze and break his defense down and his offensive attacks down, and realizing like what he does actually works. And it could possibly work for a lot of other people. It just depends if you're willing to go in there and do the man dance and to walk the guy down and be in a position where you can be hit as well. The difference is Strickland has really, really good defense, eyes, and awareness of what's going on, where his opponent is looking, where his opponent is feinting, which way he's drifting off to, I keep saying cut him off, but he's not cutting these guys off. He's just kind of chasing and following. But no matter how much he chases and follows, eventually these guys stop because they're just tired of constantly moving and circling, that they have to do something offensive. Otherwise, this guy's just chasing you around the ring and it's going to look silly. Just imagine if you don't ever throw back, or you try to throw back going backwards, and this guy's just walking you down, and you're circling and pivoting, and you're trying to punch. It's not like boxing where you can do the Ali, where he's shuffling his feet and you go, pop, 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 and rip off these jabs. You're going to get kicked. You might get taken down. The guy might throw a punch and throw a same side kick behind it. There's a lot of nuances that are different with MMA than it is for a limited fighting style like boxing. With that being said, congrats again to Sean Strickland, everyone at Extreme Couture. Everyone, please stand up and be proud, because this is a very big, pivotal, and defining moment. I don't even know what the UFC is going to do. How do they market this guy? I have no idea. Clearly, Dana's trying to do a rematch right away for whatever reason. He doesn't really do immediate rematches. Izzy's getting 2 in a row now. The Pereira fight and now this one. I'm not saying he's not deserving of that, but guys, I don't know. It's a very unique situation to see. Like, let's see what show. I can't wait to just follow his tweets and things like that, and just see what kind of crazy shit he's gonna say. And the UFC is kind of good. They're kind of gonna be like, "This is our current middleweight champion of the world, running amok, and there's nothing we can do about it until someone removes him out of this chair." And that's the fight game. And I love every second of this, and I cannot wait to watch the Sean Strickland show. Again. Extreme Couture, everyone in Vegas, stand up, man. Be proud. If Sean Strickland could do it, you can too. I think he shows what the epitome of hard work is, being dedicated to the game, and even when you lose, dusting yourself off and rebuilding yourself and getting back at it, getting back on the horse, and just having the perseverance and the determination to win, the determination to succeed, and the determination to eventually one day become the best. And Sean Strickland embodies that in every sense of the word. So congrats to you guys. Shout out Funk Harbor. Come into stores in October. And by the way, I'm competing against Nathaniel Wood, who was a former UFC bantamweight, now fighting at UFC featherweight. I think he's 3-0 in the UFC division right now. We're going to be competing September 30th in Wales. Make sure you guys pull up. It's going to be for Polaris And on top of that, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. So tune in and watch. Make sure we're going to bring the action. We're competing at 160 pounds. I told Nathaniel, I ain't cutting no weight, dog. Even 160, that's still cutting weight for me. I got to cut about 7, 8 pounds, maybe 9, depending on how heavy I am that last week coming in. So I'm going to try to be doing some training here and there. This is more fun, keep competition going, and still in mind and still going with someone who's notable, has some really good skills, and I look forward to the challenge. Probably going to hang out a couple of days after, maybe fly back home October 4th. So I'll be in either the Wales area or maybe hop over to Ireland. Not quite sure yet. We're going to see what we're going to do with the missus and I. We're on a world tour. We're on the funk tour. Can't wait. Stay safe, stay blessed. Cheers, and get yourself Funk Harbor. Go to the, where is it? Oh, go to my link tree in my IG and make sure you guys sign up to make sure you're on the list, so when it drops, you guys will get the email notification right away, and this way you guys could be one of the first ones to grab a bottle and get you something while it's hot. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Dan Hooker loved it. John Anik loved it. I can't wait to share this with the world. Peace and love, guys. See you later. Let's go, Sydney. We're coming.